Hello everyone! For today's video, we're going to be virtually traveling to Italy! Lately on my feed, I've been getting a lot of ads on a European summer trip. But because I don't have European trip money, we're just gonna go virtually. So why make this video when I am not physically traveling to Italy? Well, one, I wanted a challenge. Since all things that is included in travel is a lot, I just thought it'd be really fun to challenge my planning skills, my packing skills, and mentally prepare myself eventually for a future trip to Italy. And number two is that I think that I have amassed a little bit of travel knowledge, especially when it comes to packing Lolita for trips. And I thought that I would share them once again in a more summer setting, because a lot of my packing videos and trip preparations have taken place in the fall/winter. So summer travel is definitely something that I'm unfamiliar with, and I thought it'd just be really interesting to challenge myself while creating this video. A third reason that I wanted to mention is that travel is a luxury, especially taking trips that are a whole continent over with a lot of time spent traveling to these new places. It can take several years to save up for these sorts of trips in terms of time, as well as planning around work leaves and whatnot. So I just wanted to say that these sorts of big trips aren't normal to take on a yearly basis, even on a 2 to 3 year basis. And during that waiting time, it is okay to dream and to plan out these sorts of things. So this video is basically going to include how I'm packing for the trip and the items that I will be taking to a whole itinerary and what I will be wearing during the whole trip. And some concluding thoughts on how I think I did planning for this virtual trip. I don't think I've mentioned this, but this trip that I'm going to be taking is going to be around 10 days. I will leave timestamps in case you're interested, but feel free to grab a beverage or anything, because this is going to be a very nice long video and you can just listen to me chit chat in the background. If you hear any construction noises, please ignore them. It is prime construction season here in Canada, so not much I can do. Sorry for the construction noises. Let's get started with packing. How would I pack for a Italy-Europe trip? Well, for one, I will be restricted to a personal bag and a carry-on bag. Why is that? Well, the only two carriers that fly from Canada to Europe is either WestJet or Air Canada, specifically where I'm based in Alberta. And they only allow one carry-on and one personal bag for an international flight. And since I am not willing to spend an extra $75 to $113 for luggage on top of a very expensive over $1,000 plane ticket, we're just going to be using a personal bag and the carry-on. So this has been a very brutal selection of items to bring specifically for this summer trip. As I've mentioned before in previous packing videos, there are several benefits to having less luggage, which includes no lost luggage, less decision fatigue, especially when it comes to coordinating, no tired muscles from wrangling all of your suitcases and luggage around, plus it's cost effective. So the main pieces that I chose had to fit 3 criteria. One is that it is lightweight, number 2 is that it is sturdy enough to be worn a couple days, and number 3 is that easy to maintain and easy to coordinate. So the 3 main pieces that I chose is Emily Temple Cute's pasta series, because of course we're going to Italy, we have to wear a pasta dress in the origins of the pasta. The second main piece that I chose is Innocent World's Strawberry Tart OP. It is a fully cotton piece with a sack design, so that makes it very, very comfortable to wear, and I love gingham in the summer months. And the last main piece that I chose is my trusty Metamorphose typewriting squirrel skirt. This is my favorite skirt to travel around with because of how lightweight it is and how adaptable it is to a large variety of items. Also, as a side note, I have the option of not wearing a petticoat because all of these pieces can work without petticoats, and I can always just fluff out the dresses for photos in case I wanted more of a Lolita look. So I think it really shows just how versatile these pieces can be. And my other secret main piece is the Angelic Pretty sweater cutso. There is a potential for using it as a main piece. However, I will be mainly using it as a travel cover, specifically for the plane because it gets cold, but it is there as an option for a main piece if I wanted it to as well. Alright, so for the tops, I actually only picked out a blouse and a t-shirt, and this will give us some variety in between the JSK and the skirt, but I could also use the OP as a top as well, so that's a little hack. I also packed up 2 sweaters, a short sleeve yellow one and a longer sleeve white white cardigan. So for the headdresses, I decided to go for just ribbon combs and flat headdresses just because they are easier to pack. And that is why I decided on these ones. And then for accessories, I only chose 2 different necklaces to rotate in between, the same with 2 rings, and there's also only 1 bracelet. And then for socks, there are 4 pairs of socks to choose in between. Ideally, I think a few more pairs would be great, but these were the 4 that I picked. And of course, if you know me, you know that I only travel with 1 pair of shoes, and for this one I have chosen the double standard NYC ballet sneakers, which are very comfortable and easy to wear and coordinate around. So that is all the items that I will be packing. If I'm not wearing any of these items, they do fit in the one side of my carry-on bag. So that leaves a whole other side of suitcase for souvenirs, which is really great. And then I also have my personal bag that I could use as additional space in case that is necessary. So let's get started with the coordinate and potential itinerary. So I read a lot of travel guides while researching for this video, and a lot of places only recommend visiting 2 to 3 cities, especially if you're going for the first time to Italy. So I've chosen the main path of Rome to Florence to Venice as a good sort of first taste of Italy. So it's going to be about a 13 to 18 hour flight depending on which carriers that you're going with and whatever other layovers that there will be. So for day 0, which is our travel day, so the plan is to wear the Innocent World Strawberry Tart OP with the Angelic Pretty Sweater OP on top of it, as well as the long Saks pair of socks because planes can get very cold. And depending on when the flight lands, there may or may not be time to explore Rome, but there will have to be time to settle, so. Let's move on to day number 1. So since we're going to be walking around and acclimatizing to Rome, I thought Type Rating Squirrel would be a great first day exploration outfit, and I paired it with yellow just for a really bright, fun pop of color. For day number 1, I'm going to be planning on exploring some of Rome, and we're going to be taking a focus on the Romans, and we're going to be looking at the Colosseum and the Roman Forum. A lot of travel sites have said that this takes around 2 to 3 hours, especially if you are visiting multiple sites, and I thought that this would be a great sort of chill first day activity and get ourselves immersed in the vibes of Rome. Now, if you are in Rome, some of the pastas you must try are carbonara, amatriciana, cacio e pepe, and alla grisia. And some sides that you must try as well is some fried artichokes and suppi. And the main pizza for this region is the pizza e taglio. So for having a chill first day is ideal, and just exploring around Rome and eating good food and just really getting acclimatized to Rome itself. Let's move on to day 2, and for this one I plan to visit the Vatican City, the whole other country inside Italy. And for this one we're gonna go full Italian with the Emily Temple Cute pasta dress, and we're gonna pair it with the white cardigan just for a cover up. And for this coordinate I am actually using the ribbon belt that comes with this JSK as a headdress. It's a pretty basic coordinate, and you will really notice throughout this whole video that all the coordinates that I'm doing is pretty basic, but it's still distinctly Lolita. So a visit to the Vatican City would be lovely, especially seeing St. Peter's Basilica. Oh, I think that would just be so gorgeous to just even look at and see Michelangelo's work in there. Like, that would just be amazing to see. So that is the main tourist activity that I planned for day 2, because I feel like that would be a lot, especially in the summer where everything's really hot. So I feel like this is a pretty relaxed itinerary. For day 3, I will be planning on re-wearing the Emily Temple Cute pasta dress. This time, I will be wearing it under the Innocent World Strawberry Tart OP, just to give it a little bit more interest. I really love the contrasting of the reds and the yellows, and it is so bright and summery, especially with the red gingham socks that really matches this OP. And it's really just a cute coordinate. For this day, what I have planned is to visit the Centro Storico, which includes Piazza Navona, the Pantheon, and Trevi Fountain. And with that, we've mainly hit out the main attractions of Rome. And then in the evening, I was planning on visiting the Trastevere neighborhood for food and drink. Apparently this area has a lot of youthful vibes and great restaurants, so that is a neighborhood to definitely check out if you are in Rome. All right, moving on to day 4, and we're gonna be traveling to Florence. So for the coordinate of the day, I will be wearing the Innocent World Tart OP once again. The Innocent World Strawberry OP is definitely a very comfortable OP, so it's gonna be really comfortable traveling in this OP, especially on the train. So Florence is home to the Renaissance era, and it definitely has a different vibe than Rome does. So I believe it only takes around an hour and a half to get to Florence from Rome, specifically on the train. So that leaves some time to explore Florence. A lot of places have actually recommended the Galleria dell'Accademia for seeing the statue of David. I think that that would be great to see. And then after that, just settle in and just explore a little bit of Florence.
Some foods to try in Florence are Lamprendotto, Pappardelle al Tignel, I believe. Sorry for my terrible pronunciation. As well as Florentine orange cake. And be sure to save some stomach space for gelato, because Florence is the birthplace of gelato.
For day 5, I planned for something very casual, and I'm wearing the Metas typewriting squirrel skirt paired with sax blue and yellow. I haven't worn sax blue yet, so here it is making an appearance. I personally think this is a really cute coordinate, especially with the yellow added on top of it. It really adds a little bit of extra punch of color. A pretty basic cute coordinate. For this day, I planned on heading off to the Uffizi Gallery. There's lots to see in the gallery. I think that'd just be really amazing to see, as well as Piazza del Duomo, just to check out the area, and lots to really just observe in the piazza. For day 6, we're gonna head off on a foodie day trip. So I will be wearing the pasta dress once again. This time I paired it with the sacks. The yellow of the dress in comparison to the sacks of the blouse is really such a refreshing combo that I really love. It's currently my favorite color combination, so I definitely had to wear it at least once during this trip. So for this day, we're traveling over to Bologna, which is the capital city of the Emilia-Romagna section, which is north of Tuscany. It is primarily known for being a foodie heaven. A lot of the great Italian ingredients come from this area, like Parmigiano Reggiano, balsamic vinegar of Modena, Bolognese, prosciutto di Parma, as well as mortadella. So you know there's gonna be good eats during this whole day. Some places to visit in Bologna is Piazza Maggiore, looking at the Fontaine di Nettuno, and Basilica San Petronio. It's a great example of Italian Gothic architecture, so definitely places that I want to check out, especially in Bologna. Day 7, we're heading off on another day trip, and this is actually to Siena, which is known as a hilltop town. So for this day, we're gonna go for something very comfortable with the Innocent World Strawberry Tart OP. And since I'm not tired of Saks yet, I'm using the Saks gingham blouse as my cardigan and pairing it with the Saks blue socks, as well as more Saks in the headdress. Just really brings this coordinate together. And it is very simple and casual, but I think it's perfect for a trapeze through Siena. So some things to see in Siena is the Duomo di Siena, as well as the Facciatone, I think. The city seems like an amazing place to just observe daily life, and during trips, those slow, lazy days is definitely necessary, and I think this would be the perfect town to work on slow Italian living. For day 8, we are finally heading off to Venice. Once again, a pretty casual coordinate with the Angelic Pretty Cutso OP over on top of the Emily Simple Cute pasta dress. I really enjoy just how dresses just peep out from underneath this Angelic Pretty OP. Like, it is so cute. So it's gonna take around a 2-hour train ride to get to Venice, and once we got there, I only have planned the Basilica di St. Mark And I think this would be really great, especially when acclimatizing to Venice itself. It is a very old city and very, very different from all the other Italian cities and towns that we've been to throughout this whole trip. So that's all that I have planned. For day 9, we're gonna go for a little day trip, and I decided to go for something once again very casual because we are hitting up 2 different cities. I decided on the Innocent World OP once again for a casual look, and this time I paired it with yellow. And while this sort of color combination isn't something that I wear frequently, I still think it works out pretty well and is very cute to wear. And I think it's a really great casual coordinate, especially when we're taking the ferry. And we're going to be taking the ferry to Murano and Burano. It is possible to stop by both of these towns in one day. Glass blowing is something that I definitely wanted to try and observe, especially seeing artisans at work. Visiting these 2 places are definitely on my to-do list if I was ever in Italy. Like, the day would just feel like a dream come true because I just love the concept and the artistry behind blown glass. Alrighty, on to the last day. So for day 10, the last official day in Italy, I will be wearing a very casual coordinate with the typewriting squirrel skirt, and I paired it with some sacks in white. I really like tying cardigans around my shoulders, but it makes me feel like such a tourist, but I kind of low-key love it. While this coordinate really screams tourist, that is essentially what I am in Italy. So I just thought this would be a really nice coordinate to wear on the last day. And for this day, I only plan to visit Doge's palace. There's a section in Venice where you can look at the palace and a variety of other things that are in that same section. So I think it'd just be really fun to explore and to observe, and maybe finally take a gondola ride because Venice is known for gondolas, and I always did want to ride in one. And then after that, it would be time to head home. While talking you through this sort of trip, I feel like I have gone to Italy and it's been really fun. And as a side note, if I had a few extra days in Italy, I definitely would have added Milan into my list of places to visit. Maybe around 2 to 3 days in Milan. It is known as the fashion capital, and it would be so fun to see another Italian city that is more hustle bustle in comparison. As another side note, Itinerary is an Italian Lolita who also makes YouTube videos, so I'm gonna link her down below in case you're interested in seeing some Italian Lolita content. Most of her videos have English subtitles, which I'm so thankful for, so definitely check her out, especially if you are interested in Milan Lolita things. So while I was making this video, things that I would definitely do different is to add some more accessories, specifically like little ribbons that I can tie around my shoes to really bring the color coordinates into the bottom. I think that would elevate the casual everyday coordinates just a little more with that attention to detail. Another thing that I would definitely add is a few more socks so that I could interchange in between. While I was making this video, I didn't take into mind laundering as well as how sweaty and how hot things can get. There might be pieces that I wouldn't be able to wear back to back, and that's definitely something that I didn't keep in mind but didn't realize until the end of this video. Other than that, I think I would be ready for a Italy trip in the future, especially with my little itinerary that I've planned out. One day I hope to make this trip happen. I think it'd just be amazing to showcase more of the world and interact with it. So let me know if you've been to Europe in the summer, and if you have any travel tips specifically for traveling in Europe in the summer, please feel free to leave those comments in the comment section down below. I'd love to read all about it. I don't know when my next trip will be, but I am saving for a future trip, so travel funds definitely take a lot of time to build up, especially when you want to go international. Thank you very much for watching today's very long rambly video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!